We have other cappers that should be joining us throughout the show, but a lot of games to cover today, a lot of action, and of course, a lot of picks for you as well. Yesterday, pretty fun day for sports and sports betting. I know Big Al pulled in that Preakness winner once again. I did not jinx him with my hype. Talking about his 90% plus hit rate since joining Pick Dogs, and I think it might be actually higher than that. I think I'm cutting it short. I think he's probably closer to 100%, 99% or something.
I think you just jinxed the Belmont.
I don't think so, but easy winner there with early voting. He had the win and the place that he gave out in the as a premium pick, and if you bet at the show, also you hit it there. I liked Epicenter. He was blocked a few times in that race. He ended up going up 3-2, so I didn't really put a bet in on him, to be honest with you. It's outside of my range, and I just dumped it on that Heat money line that I begged everybody to play in the on our premium show yesterday. I didn't understand how, as a professional bettor or sports bettor, how you could not be on the Heat yesterday or the Heat money line. It just didn't make any sense at all. It's getting 2-1 and 6.5 points with the better team, the higher ranked team, and every statistic and everything pointed to a Heat win and cover. There is just the public just really all over the Celtics, wrecking that line in that game. If it was a fight, I think they would have stopped it. I know the Celtics tried to make it close at the end, but it was a pretty one-sided game from start to finish there. But the other game in Boston, the Boston Red Sox and the Seattle Mariners, we saw the Mariners jump out to a 5-0 lead, couldn't hold it. We saw the Chicago Cubs on a 4-0 lead, couldn't hold it. Just goes to show you. I'm never one of those guys. You guys ever watched like a game with one of those guys that it's like the first inning, the other team scores a run, or in the first drive of a game, the other team kicks a field goal and they're losing 3-0, and all of a sudden the panic sets in? It's like, oh man.
Romanelli
is like that.
Yeah, it was just somebody like that last night.
But you know how it is? It's like there's a reason they play the whole game. It's a reason they don't just stop it, and especially baseball. I can see how Pete Rose got hooked on it. I really can. You're never really out of it. It's kind of like highlight. It's like you're always thinking of the possibilities, of what it can be. But today, pretty solid card. How was the hockey game, Chris? That I didn't see.
It was pretty good. It was I'd say high tension for most of it. St. Louis took the lead, but then Jordan Binnington got wiped out with a big hit in Nazem Kadri crashing to the net in that game and took him out. So kind of flipped the game on its head. But it'll be interesting to see if he can come back for Game 4. And I think there's still going to be value on the St. Louis Blues for the rest of the series. But just a matter if they can execute, especially being at home.
You think there's anything more Chicago Cubs than the way they lost yesterday? I mean, is there anything more that more defines an organization from start to finish? The ball bounces off the outfield wall. The outfielder makes the play on the ball, makes the throw in, and on the relay, they throw it into the stands. I don't know. It's like 3 runs score on what basically should have been. It would have been 2 in anyway, but 3 were in on that.
I mean, almost as much as what's more Arizona than letting Mark Melancon put a scare into you in that 10th inning
and God.
Give up 2 runs when
hate
they're
his
down
guts.
When they're up 3.
Hate his guts. It's like this is another stat that's wrong with baseball. He gets a save for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Starting pitcher win-loss record, ERA for a reliever, and save are the 3 stats that you just can throw into the garbage.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty bad. I mean, I knew you were talking about Melancon a couple days ago. It was my first time really
Couple
sort of seeing
days. I've been talking about Melanson half my life. It feels
Okay,
like.
fair enough. But I just meant like most recently in terms of like recency. We were talking about it a couple days ago, and it was my first time seeing it in the flesh, in person, and yeah, it was not a good look.
Yeah, nothing fun about it.
No.
That's for sure. But today's a new day. We've got NBA action. We head to Dallas, where this Western Conference final goes to Game 3. Do or die for the Mavericks in Game 3 at this point. They go down 3-0 against this Warriors team. I mean, we've seen miraculous sports stories, the bloody sock of Kurt Schilling, but it's going to take more than that. They go down 3-0 here. I thought they had a long shot at best to win this series to begin with, but this is about as must win as there's been. But the thing is, we've seen Dallas do it, in the last couple of weeks. I mean, they went into Phoenix and blew the Suns out of the building in a Game 7. So it's not like they don't have the ability to do it. And the Suns were the top ranked seed in the entire NBA this year. So, Big Al, any thoughts on that?
Well, I guess one of these days we will see an NBA team come back from 3-0 down, right? I mean, it's happened in all the other sports, just never has happened in the NBA. But who knows? Maybe one of these years it'll happen. I like this game over the total. Game 2 went over the total by 27 points. A whopping margin. And when you take a look at how NBA playoff games do, if the previous playoff game went over the total by 26 or more points, they actually continue to go over the total, 88 and 49 to be over the last 137. So I'm going to take a look at this over the 218.5. I have a premium play at pickdogs.com on the side, so I'll refrain from commentary there. But let's take it over the total.
Al, any statistics on how NBA teams do in playoff games following blown leads of 15 points or more?
I don't keep that data, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody does keep it, but that's nothing in my database at all.
All right, because that's something that teams can go either way. Teams can just say there's nothing we can do to win, or they can use it as motivation, and we see it. And I mean, my guess is the Celtics come out next game and punch the Heat in the mouth. It's like, but that's that's for that game. But for this series, it'll be interesting to see, especially a team like the Mavericks, who really, they've had playoff games, but they've never really been quite to this is as far as they've gone with this group of players. Obviously, they've won the championship. That was a long time ago. At this point, you could call it a long time ago. And, none of those players are on this team. It's not, it's apples and oranges. So it's getting that playoff and postseason experience when you have guys on the other team that are, been there, done that many, many times over. Brian, what are your thoughts here for this trip to Dallas?
Yeah, I hate to go against one of my mentors in the business, but I'm going to lean towards the under here in this one, and I've been getting my butt handed to me on unders. But Dallas plays their best basketball at home, and defensively is when they turned it up against the Suns is when they had their most success. So if they're going to have a chance at this game, they got to play rock-solid defense. This total's, I think it's a shade high. I think it goes under the 218.5. Golden State already plays rock-solid defense.
How about you, Chris?
These two teams, not to say it, just to say something else, these two teams have gone over a ton in their recent history, but I like the under. Can't help it.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to lean towards Dallas in the first half here. And I think that just Dallas can't, we saw them blow a massive lead in Game 2, and I think that Dallas knows they can ill afford to stake the Warriors any sort of help in that regard to sort of really slam the door shut and try to get back into this series. And historically, over the last few years, home teams down 0-2 in Game 3 have performed fairly well in the first half. So I think Mavs first half laying the bucket is where I'd go in this one.
What do you think about the first? I just have a question for Chris. What do you think about the first quarter as opposed to the first half?
I'd personally like taking the first half just in case, a team like Dallas sort of does get out slow in the first quarter, and maybe we see a bit of an adjustment into the second quarter, but I could definitely see the case in the first quarter as well.
Well, I'm trying to find the odds, which I don't see in front of me. Do you see the relative value right now if you compare the first quarter to the first half, where what the two numbers are?
Let me pull that up. Hold on. Are you talking first half like with the spread or just money line?
Spread.
Spread, I'm seeing -2.
Only because I've noticed the books have taken a lot of the value over the last year or two out of the first half in this situation. So I'm curious. I know some of my friends, they've shifted from betting the first half to betting the first quarter. I'm just curious what the number is right now for this game. If you see it.
They're both the same.
Yeah, well, I'm
-2 +2 -10.5 -10.5 on both.
I'm seeing a half-point difference on mine for first quarter to first half. I'm seeing first quarter Dallas -2 and first half Dallas -2.5. With a little bit of juice going towards Dallas in the first half. It's a coin flip in the first quarter though.
Okay. Thanks.
I agree with Chris. Jason Tatum is a whiny do-nothing bum in the big games, and I think this one probably going to be a bit of a dogfight. But we've seen Dallas come out strong in every game, kind of like we've seen the Celtics come out strong every game until last night. But the Mavs first quarter, first half seems to be the play in this one for me. Like I said, Jason Tatum needs to take a long look in the mirror, maybe stop crying a little bit, and maybe try and score some points in a meaningful game. Al Ninos, what do you think? Not either Tatum or the it's up to you. 10 points total, 3 of 14. Jason Tatum.
I don't like any whining on any court or anything, but
three of 14, 1 of 7 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, I mean, he's allowed to have a bad game, but
yeah, but that's not the game. That's not the game he's allowed to have a bad game in.
It'll help him though.
Game 3, first home game of the series, your chance to really take home court advantage and wrestle control of the series. When he knows damn well, Chris, Brian, and I all bet the Heat +1.5. I forced everyone who watched our morning show. It was mandatory for admission. You had to bet the Heat +1.5 games at -130 to even be admitted to watch the morning show. It was like, could you, Big Al, could you believe those were the odds? The Heat plus a game and a half in this series at -130. That was the opening odds in this. That was the odds to bet this thing.
Well, I'm just I would have thought it would have.
But I would say, I'm talking about, I thought the series was a pick-em to begin with. Should have been -110. The Celtics were -175.
No, I like Boston and Phoenix to get to the finals. Obviously, I was wrong with Phoenix. I think Boston is clearly the best team in the, or was the best team going into the Eastern Conference. But, for you to think the series is going to be a 5-game series with the 5th game being played in Miami, I would have thought Miami would have won 2 out of the 6 games. And they would have ended it. I would have guessed it would have been Boston 4-2 at the start.
Still can be. It still might be.
Sure, yeah, but it's at +1.5. I would have taken Miami at +1.5.
At -130, at +1.5. I thought it was
the -130 wouldn't have bothered me at all.
No, it was like I thought it was cheap for a -130. People are paying minus a run and a half on the Yankees, -140 and -120. I think Al Ninos had 5 minus run lines with negative odds yesterday that he played. It's like people are doing that on much worse bets, than this.
Well, and it's also you could have banked on the fact that the first 2 games would have been split as well. So all you have to do is win one out of the first 2 and win game 5. Yeah.
Well, the Heat are 1 game away from cashing that bet. Is really where we're at here. 1 more win away from cashing our +1.5. All they got to do is win 3.
Yeah.
To cement it, but they're going to win this series. But that's besides.
Well,
Jovan,
I see what you mean. +1.5 in the series. Oh,
yeah.
I understand. I was thinking 1.5 games. No, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's in the series. I would have projected it would have gone 4-2 Boston.
It still could. Still could.
Yeah.
Still might. Still might. I don't see it after last night, but you know.
Oh no. Now you're sitting pretty with Miami, but going into the series, it would have been projected to have been a 4-2 Boston series win.
Jovan, we're ragging on your guys here. We're having a good time at the Celtics' expense. I had the Heat money line. I begged people to take it. I don't know. What do you think of this one, Dallas? Your comments on last night's game more and tonight's game, since you weren't here for the Celtic bashing.
I mean, last night's game, Celtics came out flat, turned the ball over way too much, and they made a valiant effort. Came almost all the way back, but just couldn't pull it off. Jimmy Butler, that was their chance to come all the way back. Instead, the Heat, other guys, they turned it up. They turned a 7-8 point lead into I think a 13-point lead. Again, it was like 93-80, and then Boston came back, brought it to within 6 or 4, and just couldn't make that final push. As for Jason Tatum,
but the Heat also turned them back. I mean, whenever they got within 1, right. Lowry hit the 3. They got within 1, and the Heat kept pouring it on, and they did not miss down that stretch. I think, like you said, 19 steals for the Heat, 23 turnovers for the Celtics. And, everyone's been saying the Celtics the number 1 defense, and I think the Heat took offense to that last night. And, winning in front of the Boston fans, never a bad moment for the opposition. Those Boston fans, tough.
When you have Bam Adebayo coming out of his shell and, backing players down in the paint and hitting those shots, it sets the tone. When you have Kyle Lowry, like I said, who yesterday I said they need him to have a chance in this series, him hitting open shots, him hitting contested shots. When you have PJ Tucker putting his effort in defensively, then offensively hitting shots, when he hit a couple big shots late in the game, you're gonna win those games. I mean, when it's a difference between having those guys on the court and starting out with Vincent and Strus. It just is. So
you think anyone says before the game Jimmy Butler scores 8 points, the Heat are going to win that game?
I mean, absolutely not. But if you know the Heat, you get that from them when Jimmy Butler's not there.
Yeah.
You have the other guys band together, and they pull out these wins. It's not the first time that they haven't had Jimmy Butler on the court. Now, does it translate the next game if Jimmy Butler can't go with that knee inflammation? I don't know. I also don't expect Jason Tatum to have a bad game like he did. I expect him to bounce back in a big way.
We see young players become stars in the playoffs all the time. We saw Jamal Murray do it a couple of years ago in the bubble. We saw Edwards, I thought, for Minnesota really show that he is a next level player, and I think Bam last night certainly entered that conversation as well. Definitely he took over that game, showed that he can do that. How about tonight's game in Dallas?
Yeah, well, tonight's game in Dallas, I expect an uptick from the Dallas Mavericks coming out the gate. I like them in the first quarter. What I saw out of the Warriors, way too many turnovers. They had to go full throttle in the second half. Started out in the third quarter, but their third quarter team, and then the fourth quarter they kicked it into high gear. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks, they couldn't. This was game 2. They couldn't hit a 3-point shot to save their lives. I expect them to hit their shots at least early in the game and get the first quarter.
El Niños, I know you were on the Heat last night. Rare dog play. I think you go dog in in the non-money line sports a little more than you do in the money liners. But
Yeah,
What do
I mean,
you think?
I don't take the +1.5s often, so that's usually off. I mean, I don't think I've ever put a
So you don't like take the
+1.5.
favorite plus the 1.5 or like minus 560 or something?
Oh, well, I never said don't do that. No, I'm just kidding. No, I never do that. But no, and no, I've taken some dogs in the NHL lately too. I mean, it's been some very competitive games, but usually when I got a bigger card, yeah, my stronger plays are usually try to figure out a way how to bet the favorites. Obviously, don't want to get too huge favorites, but if I think they're bettable, then I usually prefer my favorites. Had some dogs though lately.
I didn't see any on your card yesterday except for the Heat. But anyways, saw
No,
a lot of
yesterday,
minus
it was-
120 run line favorites. But anyways, but you won.
No,
so
but
it's
yesterday
okay.
I had a few. The day before that, I had a few dogs, money line dogs.
Just throwing it out there. It's just your style.
I'm just throwing
I
this
know.
out
I
there,
just,
too.
I just like, it's you definitely have had a good year so far doing it your way. As long as you pick your spots, it really doesn't matter. They're cashing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good day yesterday.
Well, what are you selling today?
I have a 5-pack, 3 MLB, and then my best bet in the NBA and NHL, and then I have a few extra plays in the MLB for everyone on the long-term passes.
Jovan, what are you selling?
Yeah, I have a 3-pack in the NBA today. Side, total, and then a halftime.
Big Al, I know you have NBA today. You had NBA yesterday. You had the Heat.
I had the Heat and the under, so I split out there. That the last 2 minutes it's pretty awful to watch if you had the under, but that's playoff basketball. It happens all the time.
Those two teams are really starting to hate each other's guts.
Yeah, I was starting to hate the two teams as well yesterday. But I've got the side in game number 3. I've also already posted the side winner in game 4 tomorrow between the Heat and Celtics. So I've got that. And what else do I have? I have the I also have the totals winner for game 4 tomorrow as well, already posted. And I've got one play in baseball, I've got a USFL play, and I've got one play in hockey. So that's what I've got today. So, and thanks a lot to all who joined yesterday for the Preakness.
5-1. Not bad.
More than that, it went up at actually between 11-2 and 6-1.
Not bad for a short field.
I mean, weren't you shocked at those odds?
Well,
I
the
mean,
longest shot on the board was only 17-1, and you got 6-1 in the second choice.
I didn't understand why Secret Oath got all that money. I mean, I was just, the Secret Oath goes off at 9-2. Early voting goes off between 11-2 and 6-1. And yet, if you did the matchup between early voting and Secret Oath, you were laying roughly $1.40 with early voting. So there's that disconnect, with what people were, betting on, in the win pool there. I guess a lot of people were maybe enamored with Dwayne Lucas or whatever the story was. But I thought, the morning line on early voting was 7-2, and it drifts up to almost 6-1, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was. Sometimes you just can't understand what people are looking at. But like you said yesterday, these are heavily bet events. The Preakness is not nearly as bet as much as the Derby, but still, you have people betting that don't normally bet, and that's going to swing It's going to swing it.
Yeah, with pari-mutuel for sure. Yeah,
sure it will. Brian, what do you got going on today?
Well, I had my worst day of 2022 yesterday, so I got my ultimate revenge 3-pack by 3 best bets, 1 MLB, 1 NHL, 1 NBA, 3 best bets for $40 at pigdogs.com.
So what defines worst day?
I'll tell you what defines worst day. That's when you lose every premium, you lose every free pick, and then you also lose every lean that I had written down. So that was my worst.
So basically, your average Saturday.
No, it was absolutely just terrible.
What I was trying to get at is how many plays did you lose?
I'd have to count it up, but it's pretty.
Because I remember my worst day I had, I think maybe in 2001 or 2002, something like. It's been a while, but in the NIT tournament, I think I went 0-9-1.
Between 12 and 15, somewhere around.
I had a day one of the NBA season. I think I went 0-9-1 one year. It was like that was my worst day. Day one of the NBA season. It was like I was already in the hole. It was like I was never going to catch up.
Yes, and it was culminated by that total in that NBA playoff game last night. That was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, I remember when I went 0-9-1 in the NIT, it was culminated with Notre Dame. I can't remember if I was on or against them, but it's like it was. I thought I was going to go 1-8, and then all of a sudden I lose the Notre Dame game too. It's like, oh fuck.
It's funny. It's like I remember my losers a lot more than I remember. Than I remember the winners. You know. The big days that I've had. And I've had some great big days, but it's like tough for me to remember like how many, in a row I've hit or anything like that. But those losing days with the called back touchdown, for me, my worst losses, I was on Northwestern in the Northwestern Ohio State game. I was on Utah in the Utah USC game. And the thing is, those were such bad beats that everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's like they rule the game a winner. And then it's a loser, and I didn't cash my ticket in that night. I was gonna go in the morning to cash them in when I put in my next bets for Sunday NFL. I didn't cash my ticket, and all of a sudden it's a loser. If I would have cashed it the night before, I'm a winner. That's about as bad as it gets. And that Northwestern game against Ohio State, that was, uncalled for. Speaking about uncalled for, Chris. You think Brian's got a Melanson jersey on when he roots for the Cubs?
I got one shipped to him yesterday. That was what I used for some of my winnings. I got a Melanson jersey shipped to him, extra small, so we can have it be the crop top type too. But
oh God,
well, you remember I went 0-9 my first two live shows in hockey, so we've all had the 0 for at one point. But for me today, I got my MLB triple play as well as my MLB $15 pickoff play. Hit the first two pickoff plays so far that we put out. Going for 3 in a row here, but either way, trying to build on the standings in the 7-day leaderboard right now, trying to keep that going as well. So got that as well.
I'm not sure how many wins I had yesterday, but my only loss was the same game that I had as Brian, as the Pittsburgh Pirates, who had so many chances to win that game and didn't get it done. And now I understand why. I had the Heat on the money line. I had a bunch of Major League Baseball winners. I had both the big comebacks. I had Diamondbacks and Red Sox. So those are fun ones. And I had a couple no doubters in there as well. But today I got just a Major League Baseball 3-pack. I have my individual big play, and then I have a pick for the NBA Western Conference Finals as well. So got a few packages out there. But as always, with mine and with everybody here, if you're buying the $15 pick every day or the $25 pick or the $30 pick every day, you might as well just get the monthly. It's like, or the yearly. It's like, it is way more economical. And the thing is, if you're worried about a capper going south or, having a rough couple days, which will happen to every single capper except for the guys on Twitter who never lose, you get the 2-for-1, and then with the 2-for-1, you can, one of the guys is gonna get through it for you at least, carry you through, and then if there's any rough spot, and then you come out the other side smelling like a rose. We're gonna actually expand on those to go even more cappers, I think, in some of those packages. But I think they're gonna be longer term and type thing. I don't know. It's on the table. Those are the meetings I just go to. Matter of fact, I know it sounds odd, but I don't even say a word at those things sometimes. We go to Major League Baseball, and what a day it was yesterday on the Diamond. Pretty exciting stuff, but it was chalky at times, but it was also, it was one of those days, right? I mean, it's like Major League Baseball, the good teams are gonna lose a bunch of times. The bad teams are gonna lose even more, and the Phillies are gonna lose a lot. And you have the Pirates here against the Cardinals, the Red Sox against the Mariners, the rematch, and then the Orioles against the Rays. Chris Ruffalo, looking at these three matchups, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just a little bit. Had a little bit of a problem with the Pittsburgh Pirates after yesterday, but I think I'm still leaning towards the over in that game. I don't trust Steven Matz, even though he's had a couple of good starts. He's always prone to blow up. And Bryce Wilson, he's been pitching well himself. But again, I think this is a spot where I think this game's at least 5-4, whichever way you have it going. So I like the over 8.5 in that one. And this is the more appropriate price I'm used to seeing for Tony Gonsolin. So I lean towards the Dodgers there. Zach Eflin hasn't been great, and the wind's blowing out at Citizens Bank, so I think there could be a few balls leaving the stands today. So, give me the Dodgers in that one.
A lot of Philly backers on the show yesterday.
Did you have Phillies and Dodgers in that time frame? I thought that wasn't one of the ones you mentioned.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at a different schedule. My fault. The way it's arranged is messed up.
Okay. It's Pirates, Cardinals, Red Sox, Mariners, Orioles, Rays. Brian?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to agree with Chris. I like the Cardinals and Pirates a lean to the over. You got two pitchers here that either one of them could get close to that 8.5 total. I'm going to take the Seattle Mariners with my guy Gilbert on the mound. This is the 10th road game, I think, in a row for Seattle. So a little bit worried about that, but I think the Mariners have the pitching advantage, and I like the plus money. Tampa Bay, Baltimore, I'm going to take the Orioles plus 1.5. They're 15-6 at home on the run line. I think they can keep it respectable. I know Watkins isn't a Cy Young Award winner, but I like the Orioles here on the run line.
Big Al?
I was just laughing at what Brian just said. I played on the Rays yesterday. That was one of my three winners. They won that ball game 6-1, and Tampa's now 44-13. Its last 57 versus Baltimore, including 13-2. Its last 15 at Camden Yards. But after getting the money yesterday with Tampa, I don't really want to, invest in them today. I'll just kind of take my money and, go home. And obviously Spencer Watkins, I don't want any part of him either. So, I look at Corey Kluber. He's unprofitable in his career as a road favorite, priced from -125 to -175. So I think it's just a good game to pass. I don't want any part of the Cardinals Pirates. I mean, Steven Matz and Bryce Wilson, neither one of them interest me. I guess we can talk about the Dodgers and Phillies also starts at 135, the same as those other games. We can talk about that in the next segment, I guess.
Jovan?
Yeah, I'm riding the Mariners Red Sox over. Last three games these teams played, because they're rolling on a four-game set, have gone over, and I expect the same in this one. Eovaldi, he gives up the long ball. That could happen. It's going to be in the 90s out here in Boston. And Logan Gilbert, he hasn't been pitching so tough. He did go 7 innings, three-run ball in his last start. But I expect both of these teams to put up some numbers. So take the over in that one. Wind's blowing out to right center. So at 11-mile-an-hour clip. So yeah, I'm on over.
Al Ninos?
I like a lot of overs here as well. I like the over in the Cardinals-Pirates game. I like the over in the Rays-Orioles game. And I will go with the Red Sox, though, for the last one.
I'm with you guys. I like the overs in these games. And I think that the Red Sox game is a little dicey for me because the way that yesterday went down, with the big comeback. So I just don't know if the Red Sox, you can't do that every night. It's not going to work. And I think Logan Gilbert is the better starting option over Eovaldi. So I'm just, it's Logan Gilbert's 3 runs max that he's going to give up. But Eovaldi, he gave up 5 home runs in 1 inning. So who knows what he's capable of. Well, we know what he's capable of. We've been betting against him for a very long time on a variety of different teams. Zach Eflin against Tony Gonsolin. Yeah, like I said yesterday, I don't bet the Dodgers often, but when they're playing the Phillies, I have no choice because I fade the Phillies every single game. We have Sandy Alcantara on the mound for the Marlins up against Ian Anderson, not the Jethro Tull Ian Anderson, the other Ian Anderson, the one from the Braves. And then Kikuchi on the mound for the Blue Jays. I don't know, man. Oh, Graham Ashcraft moved in here as opposed to Overton, who was originally scheduled. Ashcraft making his first major league appearance starting for the Reds in this one. Chris?
Yeah, I liked the Reds plus 1.5 when it was Overton, but now with Ashcraft, probably a no play for me in that one because Overton I think scratched with a back issue if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not going to rehash that Dodgers pick. I like the Dodgers with Gonsolin at that price, and I'm going to go with the Miami Marlins. Sandy Alcantara. He's right up there with Pablo Lopez as the staff ace in that rotation. And the problem for Alcantara was that he was never really getting run support no matter how well he was pitching, but that started to change. And as much as I like what the Braves have done, they started to turn it around a little bit. I think that this is just a bad spot for him. I think Alcantara mows him down and gets the Marlins a win here.
Brian?
Yeah, I'm not I like the Cincinnati Reds here with Ashcraft on the mound. If you actually look at his statistics this season, he's been pretty strong in the minors, 3-1, 1.65 ERA, and overall in his career in the minors, he's 16-9, 3.19 ERA, and a WHIP of 1.23. I think the Reds can keep it within a run against Kikuchi. And then the Phillies and Dodgers, I'm going to go down with the ship here with the Phillies. They really made me unhappy yesterday. And
another game with a blown lead.
This Gonsolin has excellent, superb numbers. It seems like a cheap price for a pitcher with this kind of stat line.
He's always cheap. He's always.
And the Phillies are a team that wins when you least expect them to. So I think today they'll get a W.
Well, anytime they win, it would be when you least expect them to. Big Al, what do you think of these? What do you think of these games?
Well, I was looking at. It almost became a pick dogs premium play for me, but Zach Eflin, I mean, he's got such a terrible history versus the Dodgers. He's made 6 starts. They've lost all 6 of his games. His ERA versus the Dodgers in those games, 8.78. Notwithstanding that history, I do like the Phillies here, but I think the better play is on the run line. I would rather just take the plus 1.5 runs. Tony Gonsolin, as a road favorite of minus 150 or less. Dodgers are 1-6 in those 7 games. So, overall his numbers are decent, but not in that situation as a road favorite. So, I would take the 1.5 runs with the Phillies and hold my nose with Eflin.
Let's take a look and see where exactly the Philadelphia Phillies stand in the Mitch pecking order of things. And we look at the Philadelphia Phillies. If you bet them on the money line this season, if every single game, like I bet against them every single game, 22nd, you're up 5 full units at this point betting against the Phillies. An exact 5 units fading the Phillies. We could take a look at the run line, how ugly this gets for the Phillies. Down only 3.36 units on the run line for the Phillies. So, yeah, it has been just a gravy train, and I'll continue to ride it. Jovan?
Yeah, I'm on the Dodgers, and that's mainly because of Zach Eflin's history against the Dodgers. When your teams haven't won a game and you've had, 7 starts against them, yeah, I'm on the Dodgers just to keep that thing rolling and to continue their winning streak. I'm on the Marlins. Just got the better pitcher in this one, Sandy Alcantara. This line started out as them being actual underdogs, and I didn't get that, so I'm on the Marlins and that one. And the Reds almost got me paid yesterday on my 3-teamer. It didn't happen. They gave up 2 in the 7th. But I think I'm back on them. Just to, they don't have a book on Ashcraft, so I'm gonna take this plus money, 2-1 odds with the Cincinnati Reds.
El Niños, you took the Phillies yesterday. They've been below sea level since April 6th, if you bet them every single game. You've been playing catch-up or hoping to catch up. They went negative on April 6th in the betting money and have not come back up for air yet. They had a couple games there, that series in Los Angeles. They did bounce slightly off the bottom, but right now, not quite at that low level of minus 70 units that we saw in the earlier part of this month, but still that minus 50 units just shows that there is some room to the downside here for the Phillies. What are you looking at?
Yeah, that was a very. I even said I didn't bet it myself, I believe. So I mean,
You said you really liked it.
said it was almost a premium. No, I mean I don't really bet against the Dodgers often, so no. I mean I didn't bet on the Dodgers either yesterday, but it was definitely a no play. This one, yeah, I'll move on to the next one and go. Yeah, as I said before, I don't bet on Kikuchi, but I can bet on him to help us get this game over the total. So I do think that could have honestly been close to a premium play, the over in that one. And then let me see what the numbers are for the first five. But I like the Braves Marlins game to stay under, and I would go with the Braves there. I know a lot of money's coming on the Marlins. Alcantara's a great pitcher, but Ian Anderson isn't too bad himself, and I think he's got the way better offense behind him. So I'd go with the Braves.
I'm going to take the Reds.
It's almost a premium play.
I'm going to take the Reds plus the 1.5. I also agree with Al Niños. I would take the Marlins here over the Braves. Ian Anderson just has been a disappointment for as far as it goes. I think he's a decent pitcher. He's a good pitcher. He's kind of like Barrios, right? Where he's good, but he's never going to be that ace of the staff. At this point, we could safely say he's never going to be the guy. And he was the third player taken in the Major League Baseball entry draft overall. And when you're taken that high, normally you can look back to that draft and you'll see like the Jameson Taillon taken, 22 places above Mike Trout type thing. Where it's like, and Zach Wheeler 9 places ahead of Mike Trout. It's kind of like, yeah, they're good, but, the elephant in the room,
If I liked Miami, I'd look at Miami first 5. That's as far as I could go. The full game, I'd go Braves. Like I said, I fully agree with you here. I love the Marlins in this game and Alcantara. He's their best option. He's a good young pitcher. And the Marlins have a good young pitching staff, and I think Trevor Rogers is the guy that is the weak link there. But I think that they know that, and that's why when they traded Marte last year, they went out and got a left-handed pitcher for him, because they knew that. And the Marlins seem to know what they're doing here, and Alcantara seems to be their guy. And I got to believe in them here, They get it done. We go to Cleveland, where the Guardians, one of the worst names in sports. Predators are the worst. Then Guardians. Commanders is also horrible. All these are just bad names, especially when you had pick of the litter at this point, Yeah, you really had a lot of good options out there. But none of the, I don't like Raptors too much either. But when you...
Guardians and Commanders might be the 2 worst.
Worse than Predators?
Well, yeah. Predators at least shortens to Preds. Guardians, we've talked about this. Guardians and Commanders, they don't shorten to anything. So
Ruffalo, who's the Nashville goalie?
Pecorine. Or no, not Pecorine, UC Saros.
Saros is a Predator. It just doesn't sound good.
It doesn't roll.
It's wrong on so many levels.
And especially as you said, they had a year to 2 years to do all their focus groups and do everything to get it right, and they come up with this garbage.
Yo, Commanders, terrible. It's horrible. Anyways, go to the next set of games. Guardians against the Tigers. Game, is it a doubleheader? Probably, because it was rained out yesterday. We've got the Brewers and the Nationals. Al Niño's fresh off his Brewers -1 pick yesterday on the show. And then Brian made it for him. And then we've got the Astros versus the Rangers. El Ninos, what do you think of these three?
Yeah, Brewers huge favorites, should get the job done here, but that's a huge number. You can't -1 that. You might have to go like money line and -2.5 maybe. See even if that's worth a bit. Let's see. Yeah, you could probably do that. Yeah, that's not terrible numbers. I'd do that right now. I bet it earlier, but I would do Brewers probably money line and -2.5. And
Half.
then
Wow.
what?
Stepping out of it. Stepping out of the shell there.
Yeah.
Half. Gonna actually try and
I'm
win
still
one
covering it
instead
with
of
the
not
money
lose.
line, though.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm still covering it with the money line, but yeah.
Can't play to not lose.
The next one was Guardians, Detroit. I'd go Guardians -1. We went over this game yesterday. It's got postponed.
Now you're on the Bieber train and the Astros Rangers.
Well, yeah, I did back him last week, as I said, and I think it's more going against the Tigers, which, as I said yesterday too, I kind of like some of their hitters, but they just haven't been getting the job done. Guardians at home here, I think he does okay. And the last one was Astros Rangers. I'd go Astros -1 there.
Jovan, Astros haven't won back-to-back games in the last week and a half.
Yeah, I'm not touching that game. The only game that on this segment that I could touch is the Milwaukee Brewers, and it has to be 2.5 or nothing. So it could push it to -3, but just to drive the price down and try to get it to plus money. I think at that point it should be plus money, but yeah, that's the only one that I could touch in this segment.
Big Al, how about you? The Nationals, they're horrible, but we've seen them beat some good teams.
Well,
but I'm not an Aaron Sanchez guy. Oh.
It's Aaron Sanchez. How about Aaron Sanchez? I think he's also the famous chef.
I think this is kind of a don't make sense play. I mean, all the stats this year are supporting the under. These two teams, the Astros and Rangers, it's the 8th meeting, and all but one of the games have gone under, and the one that didn't was a push. So the under is 6-0 with a push this year. But I like the over in this game. It's 8.5 runs. Urquidy, they tend to go over with him on the mound in his last 16 starts or last 18 starts, 12 overs, 4 unders, and 2 pushes. And, obviously, you got Hearn on the other side. I think the ingredients are here for this to be a high scoring game. I like that one over the 8.5.
Brian?
Yeah, I lost my alternate spread game yesterday, but I'm going to take the Brewers -2.5 here. Peralta's looked good over his last 23 or 24 innings pitched, only giving up a handful, I think 4 runs. And Sanchez, I know he's Mitch's favorite starting pitcher, but for me, I fade him when I see him. So give me the Brewers -2.5. Then the Guardians and Tigers. I liked the Tigers yesterday with Fado on the mound, +1.5, so I'm going to stick to that one.
I mean, he's got a 7.94 ERA. It's a little overstated. He's pitched 22.2 innings, 7.94 ERA. I mean, this is our guy, Chris.
Yeah, Aaron. Never mind. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say his nickname was. But I was going to say, Aaron, don't call me Dirty Sanchez.
Well, last year he had a 3.06. He averages around a mid-4 ERA. He's been in the threes a few times. So the reality is that more than likely he's going to pitch to a level that's going to bring that number down.
Yeah, but I've seen enough of Aaron Sanchez to know that I'm not willing to wait for that.
By the way, who do you root for? The hot dog, the brat, the sausage, or the Polish in the wiener race?
Okay. First of all, hot dog. There's no question. So the brat's too fat. The sausage always finds a way to fall, and the other one I don't even know. No, I'm going with Brian. I'm going Milwaukee alternate.
You think that brat is the crowd favorite though in Milwaukee? I would think so.
Well, it might be the crowd favorite, but it's also the worst.
All right. It's kind of like Teddy Roosevelt, really? That the Nationals game always falls on his ass every single
That
game.
I brought out my A material, bringing out the worst joke with the sausage race, and then I get nothing. Okay, there we go. Thank you. I'm gonna go Milwaukee alternate line here. I think Aaron Sanchez gets beat up today. I don't think it's gonna be a runaway for the Brewers, but I could see this being a similar result to yesterday, which finished 5-1. And I feel like Texas plus 1.5. The Texas Rangers were able to hang around with Justin Verlander on the bump yesterday, and now Jose Urquidy goes, and Urquidy just, for me, not a minus 189 pitcher. And we're getting value with Taylor Hearn, who's pitched fairly well in his last couple of starts, and the Rangers have actually won his last 3 starts. So I'll take Texas plus 1.5 in that one.
I'm going to parlay up the Rangers plus 1.5 with the Nationals plus 1.5. I think for that one, and I think I play them straight up also parlay as well. I think at least one of those two is going to win, if not both. I don't know why you guys hate Sanchez so much.
Gotta be the nickname.
Personal experience.
Ooh, I thought it was Heasley going for the Royals, but it's actually Colin Snyder now in as the starter up against Bailey Ober. We've got Jameson Taillon up against Johnny Cueto at the stadium in the Yankees-White Sox. And then Wade Miley up against Merrill Kelly. It has been another disaster series for the Chicago Cubs against a Western Division team. They have not beaten a Western Division team since the Eisenhower administration. Chris, what do you think?
I got Brady Singer listed for the Royals.
I do too. Yeah.
All right. So Brady Singer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's going to scare me off the Twins.
Well, it should.
I know well enough to know what the tone of that voice means. But I'm going to go with the Minnesota Twins and Royals over 7.5. That still seems like a low total even for Bailey Ober, who's supposed to be one of the next big cornerstones in Minnesota's rotation. I think Brady Singer gets teed off on a little bit. And I'm going to go back to the well. Give me the Diamondbacks. Again, I think Merrill Kelly bounces back here. And I think the Cubs are going to have a bit of an issue. There's just not enough of a sample size for me to feel comfortable with Wade Miley on the hill. So I'm going to take I'll take the Diamondbacks there. I think Mills is in the back in the green room too.
If you're a team that can't compete like the Chicago Cubs, do you go out and spend that kind of money on a Japanese import like they did?
They must think highly of themselves in that regard, but I mean, maybe that's just part of the rebuild. I don't know. You want to sort of bring in a star and maybe build from within. And I mean, granted, Suzuki's played fairly well this season, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just spending money to make it look like they're doing something.
All right, well, we've got Mills with us as well. Mills, we've kind of gone through a lot of the schedule at this point. We've done basketball and baseball. Anything about tonight's NBA? We'll cut back to here.
Yeah, actually, like the game taking place tonight. Gonna be looking at it. Got a premium play on it. Can't speak too much on it, but I got a player prop that I definitely like in that game as well.
All right.
I'm gonna be going with Steph Curry over 5.5 rebounds. Last game it was at that same prop. The books didn't adjust it. He had 8 rebounds. Game before that he had 12 rebounds. He's one of those point guards to where it seems like the ball just seems to find him no matter where he's at on the court. So I'm gonna be taking Steph Curry over 5.5 rebounds for sure in that game.
All right. Well, back to where we were, Brian, on the games. Cubs, Diamondbacks, really taking it on the chin this series. Yankees, White Sox, and the Royals against the Twins.
For me, I might be a White Sox sucker, but I'll take the White Sox here with plus 1.5 of Cueto on the mound. He did look good in his first White Sox start, and I don't think he's going to have a great game today. But I think the White Sox can keep it competitive in Game 1 here. And then the Royals and Twins, I think they've got their tin cup out here for Minnesota. Ober's been good. First game back from the injured list. I don't see him going more than 5. Singer's been strong this year for KC. The line looks light to me. I'm going to go with KC here. Finally get a W.
Singer, last time out also, it's his he really hasn't done anything yet this season either, correct? So
About 15 innings, I think 15.1.
So, all right, Big Al.
I don't really like any of the games in this time slot. I do like, the second game of the Yankees White Sox doubleheader. I guess should I talk about it now, or should I just wait till we get down to 7:05?
We'll be there soon enough. So it sounds like a straight Ruffalo on this segment. Got Jovan.
Yeah, I'm on the under in the Diamondbacks Cubs game. The fact of the matter is the Diamondbacks can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag against lefties. And Wade Miley did have a good game his last game. First game not so much, but I expect the runs to be 2 a minimum with these 2 pitchers now. You always got the bullpens to worry about, so tread lightly with that. But and I would like to pull the trigger with Johnny Cueto. He's pitched good against the Yankees in his career, the times that he's going against them. And just on the strength of value, I'll roll with the White Sox.
Al Ninos.
Yeah, I like. Sorry, let's check where I was. I like the Diamondbacks a lot in this slot. That could have very well been a premium play. They've looked great so far in the series. Miley, I guess, has good numbers. He's a decent pitcher, but he can get hit. And I think I trust the Diamondbacks bats more too. So I like the Diamondbacks in that one. And then I like the over in the Yankees game.
Mills?
Yeah, starting with the Yankee game that's going to be kicking off. I'm looking at the over in that one as well. It's at 9.5 right there. The Yankees just been smashing the over spots, as you guys see, as of late. And they also got that little beef going on with the White Sox versus the Yankees. The Tim Anderson versus Donaldson stuff going on too. So I definitely look for runs to be flying in that game. The Diamondbacks versus the Cubs game, that's a game too to where I really don't trust none of those pitchers. I think it's Kelly versus Miley. So I'll be looking at the over in that game as well.
All right. I like the White Sox again here. I've lost every single game so far this year against the Yankees, taking the White Sox. So I'm going to might as well ride it out to the end. No reason not to at this point. I think the Chicago Cubs should just pack it in. They looked like they quit again, out on the field. They blew that 4-run lead yesterday, and then the error in extra innings was about as pathetic as it gets. It just defines the entire organization from top to bottom. Just didn't even make any sense. But the Cubs don't have a lot of answers. The thing is that the Diamondbacks had bases loaded in the tie game, 4-4 game, and the Cubs get out of it without the Diamondbacks scoring a run. They're not able to ride that momentum to get the run. They're going to lose, right? If you don't get a run the next inning after having bases loaded, nobody out, and you get out of it, pop fly to the second baseman, double play. Couldn't draw it up any better. Pathetic. Anyways, move on to the next batch of games. And we've got the Colorado Rockies and the Mets, the Giants taking on the Padres. Good series so far. We got the A's and the Angels. And game 2, Luis Severino against Jovan's man crush, Michael Kopech. Mills, what do you think of these games?
Man, it started off, I really like the Padres in this one. Mackenzie Gore, he's an up-and-coming prospect pitcher. He's 2-1 right now. Didn't get off to the hot start, I think, his first game. But that's a guy that I actually like on the mound for them. So I'm going to be looking at the Padres in that one. Alex Wood on the mound, I want to say, for the Giants. Everybody's formidable with him. So I actually would lean to the under in that one. And then on the next one, of course, man, Luis Sereno, I want to say he's taking the mound for the Yankees. I'm going to be looking at the under in that game as well. So those are the 2 plays that I like for those games right there.
El Ninos.
Padres, Mets, and the third one was the other Yankees game.
There's 4 in the slot.
Okay, and we went Angels -1 as well. So yeah, I like the Padres a lot. Like the Mets quite a bit too, and the Angels should get the job done there. Don't like them quite. I think they're a bit overpriced though, the Angels, but I would bet them -1 before I look at the A's.
I'd feel cheated if I didn't get Al Nino's -1 on a morning weekend show.
Yeah, we had to get a -1 from him.
I had the Astros -1 as well.
Oh, double -1. We could parlay those. The -1 parlay. Jovan.
Yeah, the Padres and Giants. I like the under in this one. I also like the actually check that. I'll take the under first 5 with this one. You know, get out early before the bullpens come into play, mess things up. That's been the way it's been going for me. So yeah, just take a first 5. No, that's it. That's it.
Big Al.
Well, I've got one play at pick dogs today on the premium side. My second favorite baseball play would probably be the New York Mets with Taijuan Walker as a small road favorite at Colorado. If I'm going to take a road team at Colorado as a favorite, I want to be sure that the pitcher, doesn't have a poor history at Coors Field, and Walker doesn't. He's pitched 4 games there, 24 innings, just 7 earned runs. So there's nothing negative in his history, which would suggest he can't handle, Coors Field. So I do like the Mets, and he's also performed well as a road favorite of -150 or less. His teams are 8-1 his last 9 in that situation. So I do like the Mets there. My third favorite play, and again, this is similar to the Texas-Houston game. All the statistics are on the Yankee side in the matchup with the Severino and Michael Kopech, and I like Chicago. It's just my intuition for doing this for 44 years. I think the Yankees are 7-0 in Severino's, 7 starts this season. Yesterday I mentioned how awful the White Sox are as a road underdog. 13-35 now, their last 48. And with all that being said, I just think the price is way too rich on the Yankee side here, pending, of course, what happens in game 1 of the doubleheader. We don't know, how that's going to wind up. But going into it, I would definitely be looking at the White Sox plus $1, $60, $65 here.
Brian?
In this time frame, I'm going to lean towards the Padres with Mackenzie Gore in the mound. He doesn't really go too deep, but I'm not an Alex Wood guy, and the Giants have been lost with the Giants yesterday. Just a small lean. And then I think the best bet this time frame is taking the Oakland A's plus the 1.5 here. I think Cole Irvin's just sneaky good. He's not great, but Pablo Sandoval definitely pitching above his pay grade, -200. I just think the value is with the Oakland A's today.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Padres as well. I like Mackenzie Gore. I like what he's brought to the mound for the Padres this season, and the Padres have just been the better team through the first 2 games of this series, and I think Alex Wood can keep the Giants in it, but I look for the Padres to win this one when all's said and done. I like the A's team total under. I think Patrick Sandoval, there's something to how well he's pitching this season, and I just think that the A's are going to go back to struggling offensively once again. I think they have a bit of an issue. So, yeah, give me the A's there, and I'm going to lean towards the under 9 between the Yankees and White Sox game 2.
I like the White Sox with Kopech. Go reverse run line in that one. I like Taijuan Walker on the run line, the Mets. That'll be part of my parlay that you'll hear in just a moment. Anyways, that wraps up. Oh, we got hockey today.
I thought you were a Gomber guy. You're going against Gomber today?
I don't like the trend.
All right.
The trend says Mets run line. I'm dancing with what's working. Anyways, we do have NHL. Tampa Bay Lightning up against the Florida Panthers. New York Rangers against the Carolina Hurricane. Florida Panthers, Carolina Hurricane. It should be Miami Hurricane, Carolina Panthers, right? It's backwards. Tampa Lightning, Florida Panthers, Rangers, Hurricanes, Edmonton, Calgary, and I think they're going to go out for Starbucks before the game. Those guys, just Edmonton, Calgary. Chris, you headed over to Starbucks with Edmonton and Calgary?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Maybe I can get a cake pop or a frappuccino or something. Who knows? Maybe I'll get it spilled on me. But I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Lightning in that one. I don't know. The price here kind of baffles me a little bit. I get it. Florida's President's Trophy winners had the best record in the league, but Tampa Bay is just really imposing their will on the Panthers here, and they're showing why they're the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. So Florida's had no answer. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay in that one. I like the under 5.5 in Carolina and the New York Rangers. I think this is going to be another low-scoring game. I think it's 3-2 at best, whichever way you have it going. And I liked the Calgary Edmonton over 6.5. Don't love it as much at 7, but I'd still take the over in that one.
Brian, any thoughts?
Yeah, in that grouping of games here, I'm going to ride with my Calgary Flames here to get a little bit of revenge. They lost at home to Edmonton in Game 2. I just think the Flames, to me, are the better team. You're getting them at a decent price here. I'll take Calgary. I think they bounce back.
Big Al, any thoughts on today's action on the ice?
Well, I don't disagree with Brian, with the Calgary game. And you take a look at Edmonton as a home dog, 20-42. Its last 62 in that role. I agree. Calgary is the better team. This is a decent price. I would look at Calgary. As far as the Rangers and Hurricanes have not had a good history at Madison Square Garden, winning just 9 of the last 37 there. So I would look at the Rangers. And, trivia question for you guys, since they started the President's Trophy in the NHL, how many of the teams have gone on to win the Stanley Cup?
That's a curse, isn't it?
70.
They only started it in the mid '80s, so there's only been 36 times. But
I would say once.
I would say.
Or no, maybe
22.
I'd say
8 times the team's gone on to win the Stanley Cup out of
I was close.
36.
I was close.
Yeah, it's it's pretty rare. It's like, and that's. To me, that's what's fun about hockey playoffs. The best teams generally don't win the Stanley Cup. It's not like the NBA where it's a chalk walk. So,
it's the hardest trophy to win, isn't it? It's supposed to be.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes the NHL playoffs a lot of fun. You just have no idea what the hell's going to happen.
I would say the World Cup's pretty tough. Anyways, where are we at? We're at Jovan doesn't know hockey. El Niños.
Yeah, 3 great games here today. Obviously, if you like defense, you're going to want to watch the Rangers Hurricanes game. I like the under there. If you like offense, you're going to look at Edmonton, Calgary. I like the over there, 7. Now, that's a pretty high total, but I'd probably rather lay the 7 goals than the juice on the 6.5. So I don't mind that. Might end up pushing, but I don't mind pushes too much. But I think you'll see a lot of goals in that one. And Lightning and Panthers should just be a great game. So that's my free picks for that.
All right, Mills, you do hockey? I don't. Me and Jovan are no hockey.
Got a little action, when I see something I like. In this game, I like the Lightning. Andrei Vasilevsky at goaltender, pretty much I like him a lot. Right now, the Lightning are 2-0 in this series. Actually, that's one of the teams that I usually bet during the year. Then in the second game, I'm going to be taking no score in the first 10 minutes. You can get that at a plus 105, even better if you shop around for the best line. And then starting off with the last game, I'm going to be looking at the Oilers in that one. I love me some McDavid, so I'm going to be looking at the Oilers to actually squeak out a win in that game as well.
So if you're naming a professional sports franchise, Predators on your list of teams you would pick, team names you'd pick?
Nah, I would even think of something more probably idiotic than that or something.
How about Stalkers?
Just naming the players or something.
You might as well, right? You might as well call them the Stalkers. It's like same thing.
But the logo has to be a shadow for the Stalkers.
Yeah,
So
see,
weird.
I've never even thought about it that way. Now it's all messed up for me, Mitch. Thank you.
So creepy. Anyway, speaking about creepy, let's get to the parlays here. Chris Ruffalo, you got a parlay for everybody?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to take the under in the Rangers and Hurricanes matchup. I'm going to take the Miami Marlins on the money line and the LA Dodgers on the money line.
Brian?
I'm going to take the Oakland Athletics plus 1.5, the Cincinnati Reds plus 1.5, and the under in the Warriors Mavs game.
Big Al, parlay?
Oh, I'm not into parlays, but how about if I give out a free premium play to all the viewers here in the USFL, since we didn't talk about the USFL. Game goes off in 40 minutes. I like New Orleans Breakers minus the 8 points over the Pittsburgh Maulers. Maulers got their, first win of the season. The last weekend, they pulled an upset as a 6.5 point underdog. I look for a letdown today, and I would lay the 8 points with New Orleans.
Originally, the Boston Breakers used to play at Boston University.
Yeah.
Marcus Dupree.
Yeah. I do like how the USFL kept all the logos and the nicknames from those franchises.
Well, this way we could break out all our old swag.
Well, and also they were some decent names. They didn't try to create these 2022 awful names. So you've got some decent nicknames among them.
Well, mine is Gamblers. I like that one.
Gamblers, Bandits. Like Bandits would be. Probably they wouldn't even allow that today. It's illegal, right?
That's what they call me at the golf club. The gambler guy. That's that gambler guy. I can hear you. I'm standing right next to you. It's like, Jovan.
Yeah, the Mariners, Red Sox over, White Sox game 1, and the Dodgers. Both of those are money line plays.
El Niño's gambler guy.
Yeah, there's so many I could do today, but let's keep it interesting. Go.
You can go more than 3 teams. We got time.
2 different 3-teamers.
No, just do a 6-teamer, man. 16 parlay lock. I got a lot of people that email me that are looking for one of those.
Okay, let's.
I need a 16 parlay lock.
Yeah, no.
Big Al, you ever get the 16 parlay lock email?
People. I just don't advise parlays. I just don't understand. I'm not trying to catch. My goal is to grind out a profit, not catch lightning in a bottle.
I love that you stick parlay and lock in the same sentence right next to each other.
Right.
It's a parlay lock. Al Niños, 16 parlay lock, please.
I'll go Mets, Padres. I know I said that a million. I'm trying to give them the order I like. I thought there was another dog. Braves, and then if you want to keep adding teams, you could go. Yeah, no, I'll just stick to that. Let's stick to that. Yeah.
How about you, Mills?
Man, I got a nice little one out here. It's like plus 600 out there. I'm going with the under in game 2 with the Yankees versus the White Sox. Then I'm going with the Guardians money line, and I'm taking the Padres money line. Plus 600 right there. I like all 3 of those plays as well.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to go with Steph Curry under 26.5 points on top of my parlay. If you have a book that allows the parlaying of the props with your regular, throw in Steph Curry under 26.5 in there. Thank me later. Anyways, my parlay for today is going to be the Chicago White Sox reverse run line in game 2 in the Kopech game, parlayed up with the Cleveland Guardians. Oh, no. Other side, I have Tigers in that one. I'm sorry, with Fado up against Shane Bieber. And then Alcantara minus 2.5, the Marlins against the Braves. So it's White Sox alternate run line, Detroit Tigers, and inverse run line, White Sox, Yankees game 2 with a Steph Curry under 26.5 kicker, is what you call that. play that one at your own risk. People will be like, you lost your parlay, you suck. Anyways, we don't suck most of the time. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Make it a winning day, and we will see you tomorrow as we will be Heat Celtics Game 4.